Hello, welcome to Philosophy 110, Introduction to Logic. If you're watching this video, you are in the Canvas, you're in the course, and you have located the modules, and hopefully, and you're able to sort of click through and navigate the course. Um, this video is just a bit of introduction. We're going to go through the syllabus. I'll talk about how the course is going to work, and in very general terms, what the course is about. Um, the next video is going to be an even more thorough introduction to like the background of why logic matters, because I think it can be easy to lose the point of it, because we are going to be doing a relatively deep dive into a specific form of reasoning called deductive logic. We're going to cover some other things that I think are important as well, but it's not quite as broad as like a critical thinking course, right? So we're going to get into some fairly abstract stuff, and so in the next lecture, I'm going to try to give you a baseline of understanding that you can go back to and say, well, what was the point of all this in the first place? If you ever get lost in the details. So for now, let's just get the basics of what this course is going to look like and how you can succeed. So this is me. My name is Nate Greeley. I'll be your instructor. You can feel free to, when we are in contact through email or through Canvas messaging or whatever, you can feel free to call me Nate. I'm not super formal about it, but I am a doctor. I am Dr. Nate, but you don't have to call me Dr. Nate. I have a PhD in philosophy and cognitive science from UC San Diego. It's a dual program. They have a great cognitive science department, and I use that to inform my teaching of logic because you know it's been shown by psychologists and cognitive scientists that our brains are amazing in many ways, but our brains are also have many blind spots because they just sort of evolved in a very specific environment. So we're great at reasoning in certain contexts, but as soon as you get out of that context, that kind of the same one you were in as a hunter-gatherer 50,000 years ago, you make lots of mistakes. And our current environment, right, is moving much faster than our brains are evolving. And so we really do need these more general skills of how to reason. We need to be more explicit about it. We can't rely so much on our instincts and the little shortcuts our brains have developed. So that's my background. So that's my email there, nathaniel.greeley at abc.edu. I'll be holding regular office hours on Zoom every Friday, 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. The link is in the syllabus on the Canvas. Uh, if that time doesn't work for you and you do want to meet with me, certainly shoot me a message or an email and we can arrange. But those will be my standing office hours where if you log on, I'll be there. So this course is an introduction to logic. What is logic? I think of it sort of broadly as just the study of reasoning and argumentation. It provides the basic rules. So it's a study of what we call truth-preserving reasoning, right? So, we can pick up certain truths about the world, right? And we would like to know what is true of the world in order to help make decisions, right? You need to interact with the world. The world puts constraints on what you can get out of life. You want to get the best out of life. You have to know what um, the world is like, right? What you're dealing with when you interact with the world. And so you need to have true beliefs about the world, and you need to be able to make accurate or truth-preserving inferences, right, from what you know to new information. You need to be able to analyze all the arguments that people are throwing at you all the time to determine whether they're giving you good reasons to believe things. And you need to be able to talk to other people, to other humans. You need other humans to get through life, to be able to give them convincing arguments, right? To get them to do what you want to do. So, um, search for truth, the search to put your beliefs in other people's heads and make sure that other people aren't putting bad beliefs in your heads and make sure that all the beliefs that you have about the world are actually correct. That all requires logic. And we have, as humans, developed amazing systems for reasoning and argumentation, right? And we're going to teach you some of those. So more specifically, we're going to focus largely on deductive reasoning. There are other forms. We'll touch on inductive reasoning for a bit, and we'll touch on some decision theory, which is something that psychologists and philosophers have developed as a rigorous way to use the information you have to make decisions. And often the results are fairly surprising, right? If you actually go about decision making in a careful and rigorous way, it turns out we make all kinds of bad decisions, right? We have all the right information, but we don't use it properly to make the right decision. So, but in the middle there is going to be a lot about deduction, right? Because this is a logic class, and this is how logic is taught. We're going to talk about sentential logic, translating English into a symbolic notation, using that to analyze arguments for validity, using proofs with truth tables, and finding out what are the valid rules of inference in natural language. And then we'll apply that using decision theory. We'll get more into the details later, right? But that's a broad overview of what the course is going to be covering. So the texts are provided online. So I use some passages from a text by Rick Grush, who was a professor of mine at UCSD, and he has a text that I think is particularly good, and it's not generally widely available. His course, he allows me to use it. That's posted there. I think it's one of the more approachable some of those texts out there can be pretty dry, but Rick does a good job. And then when we talk about decision theory, we'll be using Understanding Scientific Reasoning by Ronald Gear. Also, I'll post those chapters to Canvas. I'm going to post video lectures like this one every Monday and Wednesday. There'll be usually 2 lectures each Monday and Wednesday, right? Because it's a compressed course. It's an 8-week course. So we're going to be moving as fast. So you can expect usually 2 lectures each Monday and Wednesday. So I'm going to cover the material that's in the readings, try to do the readings beforehand, and then I will help explain what's going on in those readings, and I'll help prepare you for the sort of exercises you'll be doing in the homework and the exam. So learning outcomes, I just want you to understand these concepts and techniques in logic and be able to apply them, right? And improve your own reasoning skills and be able to get what you want out of life by using correct reasoning, both in analyzing arguments and applying it to decision making. The way you're going to do that in this course is you'll be watching lectures, you'll be reading the content, you'll be participating in discussions with other students to help each other on the homework, right? The homework is collaborative, and it's not graded on accuracy, it's graded on completion. So I want everyone to work together on it. That's perfectly fine, right? Then you'll have exams, a midterm, and a final where you are understanding this stuff. So the assessments are largely geared toward participation and activity. I think of logic as more like learning to play basketball or play the guitar than it is learning facts about history or biology, right? You can't just memorize some stuff and do well in the class. You have to practice it. So that's how I organize the course, right? I heavily weight participation and the homework, so that in doing it, you will then be prepared for the exams. So here are the breakdowns of the grades. So again, notice 35% of your grade, discussion, participation, and homework complete, right? Those should be very easy to get 100% on. All you have to do is do it. In the homework, I'm not grading on accuracy, I'm grading on did you do it, right? So, and I encourage you're required actually to talk to each other about the homework and participate, help people out, right? If they have questions on it, if you have questions, ask questions and collaborate on this stuff. I'll be in there as well, checking out the discussion and necessary, right? So I'm trying to keep everyone active and practicing, and that's adds up to 35% of your grade. Then you'll have 3 types of exams. There'll be short little quizzes for each unit. The course is divided up into 7 units. I hear already that my math is wrong on the unit exams. 7 times 5 would be 35. So it will be 30% of the grade, so I'll have to adjust how much each exam is worth, right? I'll add up to 30% of all the unit exams. Then you have a midterm, which covers everything for units 1, 2, and 3. Similar format to the exams, and the exams similar format to the homework, right? But it'll be longer, right? And of course, these quizzes and exams will be in Canvas on a remote format, right? And then you'll have a final. All of this stuff is cumulative because again, it's practicing. It's like learning to play guitar or basketball, right? You learn how to dribble first, but you can't like then forget how to dribble and then focus on shooting, right? Skill builds on the next one. All of this stuff is cumulative, apart from the unit exams, but even those really build on the previous skills. So I won't go through the whole course schedule. Here's sort of a sample of what you see on the syllabus, but you're welcome to go to the syllabus in Canvas, and it'll tell you exactly what's due on what day, on what days I'm posting the lectures. So you'll see I've got the course introduction up, and also there should be another lecture on truth and inference, some baseline about it's me sort of convincing you why this course matters for your life, right? And the reading for this stuff is just my lecture notes and the syllabus, right? So for this lecture, just look at the syllabus and make sure you've reviewed it. I've got some lecture notes I posted for truth and inference, and then by 10:16, I expect you to have looked at the brush reading for chapter 5, right? And all this is in the modules in Canvas, so you should be able to click through, next. It'll take you to the next thing you need to read, the next lecture you need to watch, and so on. But the readings are before the lectures, and it tells you when the exams are posted and so on. My grading scheme is conventional, right? So 93 and up is an A, 90 to 92 is A minus, and so on. This should be pretty familiar to you at this point, but if you have any questions, let me know. Diversity and inclusion, certainly I want everyone in this course to feel welcome and feel like you are contributing and valued in this class. So if anything I can do to facilitate that, please let me know. Sometimes if I was teaching an ethics class, I would we cover some controversial material and let me know if anything makes you, uncomfortable or it's difficult for you to participate in. Logics tends towards the more dry side. It's a little less controversial, but at any rate, yeah, do let me know if any issues come up. I want to make sure that everyone feels valued here. So plagiarism and cheating, don't do it, right? The homework is collaborative, right? So I imagine you could just be in the discussion asking people to do the homework for you, but that's not going to help you, right? And you're only harming yourself, right? So I don't have a big problem about collaborating on the homework. Don't cheat on the quizzes, right? They're going to be timed. It's going to be hard, I think, to do that. But if I detect any hint of that, I will. It's an ugly process, the academic integrity process. It never works out in your favor to do that stuff. I'd rather you just reached out to me and said, I'm having trouble with this course, right? Or I'm sort of falling behind because I had a lot of work or something. And I'm usually very accommodating with that stuff. Cheat. Also, don't try to Google the answer. It will give you wrong answers, right? Because there's so many different sort of, logic in one sense is the same, but in another sense, there's so many different texts and so many different approaches, and some people use different symbolization, different words for stuff. It's very easy to detect when somebody's just going to go to the internet for the answers because they're going to be using very idiosyncratic terminology and stuff like that. So don't do it. It's fairly easy for me to tell, right? And AI is actually pretty bad at logic too. It's designed. It's not a predictive Bayesian engine, not a deductive engine. So it's point being, it's easier to just not cheat. Right? And if you're having trouble, email me. Okay, I'll help. Yeah, if you have any academic accommodations, I'm happy to work with you on those. Sometimes that takes the form of creating a quiz that gives you more time or something like that. So, but do go through the OSD program because I have to get the email from them that says yes, you're allowed to give this person accommodations. Then I'm happy to do it, but it's bureaucratic process. So if you think you qualify for that or will need it, try to start that process early so that I can help you out. And if anybody has any religious accommodation, any sort of holidays or anything like that, that sets them behind a little bit, just let me know. So in general, I can be flexible with deadlines. I'm sometimes flexible, to be honest, to your detriment, right? So if you email me and say I was sick or whatever, something terrible happened to me, I tend to believe you, right? But it goes on and on and on. Sometimes I end up giving you enough rope to sort of strangle yourself with, just falling behind. So do stay in touch, and I like to be flexible with this stuff, but don't let yourself get behind because in the end, if you don't pass the exams, you don't do well in the class. That is the end of this, relatively brief intro. I just wanted to go through the syllabus. If there's anything I didn't cover or was confusing, reach out to me, and then go ahead and move on to the next lecture where I start to introduce the material for the course.